Hi everyone, it's your boy Zach, and this is my review of the first 15 minutes. No, I got like 3 more episodes left to go in Star Trek Discovery season 3, and I just kind of rage quit in the middle of episode 11. So this is not a review of that episode. I will get to that later, although lately I've been bunching up the Star Trek Discovery into a couple episodes at a time. But this is specifically a video about Tilly. I have never seen a character assassination like this in any TV show ever, especially so quickly. A lot of times, when a show goes for like 8 years, you'll realize, like, you'll watch like a season 1, season 2, you're like, oh geez, this character is completely different. Not like, evolved or devolved, but they basically are writing this character completely differently. But no, this is like I said, that's in the title, character assassination. It's insane. So what made me quit in this one is that they went to a planet of dilithium. We'll talk about that later. And they cut to what was her name? Mary Wiseman, Tilly. And she goes, "It's a planet of dilithium." And I just screamed. I go, just, why are you crying? So as many people have pointed out, Star Trek Discovery Season 3 it's insane. Everyone cries all the time. It used to just be Burnham who cried all the time. Now Tilly is either crying or does that like, hi, like that you're just about to cry, voice. I'm not kidding, like half of her dialogue, and usually the beginning of almost every bit of dialogue. It's a really weird season where kind of it's almost kind of like with the Star Wars sequels, where in the last third of the third season, all of a sudden they kind of have to start a new storyline. They're like, oh, there's a distress call from a Kelpian ship from 100 years ago. You're like, what the fuck? Okay, yeah, write that in the history logs and move on with your day. But obviously they think they're, galaxy brained about something here. But oh god, I gotta get around this. People are getting like the COVID vaccine, but it's literally like 5-mile long waits in a car. Oh, I got no idea how to deal with this shit. But anyway, so when she started off in season 1, she was annoying. We've been stuck with this ever since the 1990s and Joss Whedon. She was a Joss Whedon character. And weirdly and sadly enough, there is now a Joss Whedon character, not just in Joss Whedon shows, which would make sense, but in every single show. The oh-so-quirky super geek who is socially awkward except for when it's needed for them to not be, and then they're as social as possible. But yes, I really do not like characters like this at all. They drive me kind of insane. But handleable. It's an ensemble cast, and so she would, she had some okay storylines, some okay, quips. She's very photogenic. She's very pretty. She's got a great head of hair. So when I was first like worried about this character, it's like, I hate Whedon characters. It's so old and played out. In the first like season, she's the one like, and that's the power of science. I just wanted one of the senior officers to be like, shut the fuck up, cadet. So she went from cadet to ensign, and she is now second in command of Star Trek Discovery. But the way they have changed her is insane. She was the kind of annoying, kind of plucky Whedon character, the audience identification character. And now she is, I'm going to be very blunt, 60 pounds overweight and crying all the time. And the thing about Star Trek Discovery is that it's a story. It's all fake. It's fictional. So what you can do is you can explain things. You can say, and again, this is Star Trek. I mean, they just pushed Georgiou through a magical time portal to get rid of her so she can go set up for her spinoff. If all of a sudden you're going to have her start crying in every single scene, sometimes in every single line of dialogue, I want to emphasize, at the beginning of the last few episodes, you know, they catch you up on the storyline, and there's a distress signal. So it's weird. Like I said, it's the showrunner for season 3 is just like one of the staff writers from season 2. Didn't even start. Obviously, barely knows the characters, and just so a lot of people are quite different, especially what is Stamets and Culber. There's this weird Mad Libs thing they do in this stuff where like everyone in every family, like every member of the family is a different race, and then you have a character who is an actor who is clearly Hispanic, but his name is either Stamets or Culber, and it could be either one, you know, because both of them equally do not fit him. So they're a couple. Although, do you remember like in season 2 when it looked like the Doctor was being completely written out? That was weird. So anyway, there's a distress signal, again, from 100 years ago. And they see it, and they cut to her, and she makes this really over-the-top expression. She goes, "That's a distress signal." It's like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, it's a distress signal. There's distress in the universe occasionally. Like, so at some point, this is what I think happened. Number one, everyone's crying almost all the time in this show. But also, again, not to be rude, Mary Wiseman apparently had a kid, put on some baby weight, and it didn't go away. You could do that in a storyline. I very well remember from, I think, season 2, a storyline of Burnham trying to get Tilly into shape and jogging around, you know, the decks with her. So it's a military organization, or paramilitary, you know, it's a military. It's got rank, they got weapons. She's 60 pounds overweight. That's a storyline. It might be a little awkward conversation with her, and she might want to be like, I don't want to really draw attention to my weight. So I think maybe the constant crying is a way to distract from that. But then they do other things that put the focus on, like, hey, let's make the ensign, who is 60 pounds overweight and cries all the time, let's make her the second in command of the ship. Which means when Saru leaves, she is literally in charge of a starship. She's in her 20s, overweight, emotionally labile to the nth degree, and she's on a bridge where every single person outranks her. Every single one. I don't even think there's another ensign on the entire bridge. And Discovery is it's kind of weird. Although sometimes they will show you the inside of the Discovery, and it's like immense. It's a fairly small ship. I think I looked it up one time. Their whole complement is like 200 people. So yeah, there's not going to be 1,000 people that outrank her, but there's probably at least a quarter of the ship outranks her, because there are, you know, enlisted people in Starfleet. And then there's Book, who is not in Starfleet at all, and he just is on the bridge and just does whatever they want. So I think it's a couple of things. You had a minor staff writer who was promoted to showrunner literally months after taking the job. And if you look at this person's resume, it's not spectacular. So you have a showrunner who doesn't really know the characters. You have an actress who put on a lot of weight, and nobody's really willing to, talk about it in a way that needs to be spoken about. I mean, this is Star Trek. They've all gone through incredible, experiences. They're 900 years in the future. There's all kinds of weird phenomenon. All you have to say is that Tilly is having some sort of emotional crisis, and going through time, she became a psychic magnifier, and the reason everyone's crying all the time is because she's upset over she got a subspace communication, her mom's got cancer or something like that. So her emotions are going into everyone's else, and that's why everyone's crying all the time. And then you have a scene where she emotionally deals with it, and then everyone else is able to calm down. There's your storyline. It's a lot better than the what's the pilot's name? Detmer, where like they started to do some storyline where she was like going insane, or maybe she had been hacked or something like that because she has cyborg parts, and then she just did really good flying a ship one time, and everyone congratulated her, and that was like the end of the storyline. Oh, that's fine. She just wasn't being emotionally validated enough, but she is on the bridge of the Star Trek Discovery. It's literally nothing but being emotionally validated. So, so Tilly went from a possibly annoying character to eventually really pulling her weight, again, no pun intended, to being a freaking walking disaster. So much so that she is literally a parody. And I can't believe that the actress enjoys this. I mean, you know, actors and actresses, they're emotional people, and they like the emotional scenes. But at some point you're like, so I'm crying again. But I've cried in like my last 12 scenes. I'm literally just saying the words distress signal and then I cry. Yeah, I know there's a storyline where they didn't have dilithium and they found a plant of dilithium, and you would be pretty excited, and then this is the most insane thing. In episode 2, Saru actually pulled Tilly aside to have a conversation with her about being more professional and not crying all the time. Now, it wasn't expressly put like that. He basically said, you know, we're going to be around some other people. We need to act like officers. But that was, you know, the subtext. Stop crying all the time. And then that's completely gone. So I don't know if that was like some other, you know, somebody snuck that past the goalie, you know. I mean, it wasn't like just one line of dialogue. It was, you know, a whole scene before, you know, they went and met these space pirates or something like that. But yeah, I can't remember this quickly a character being absolutely destroyed, assassinated by the show she's on. I mean, she cries more than Burnham does. Oh, maybe that's the deal. They really like the idea of constant crying because that kind of like jump starts. Oh, this scene must be dramatic because this character is crying. This character cries over everything. Literally 100-year-old distress call made her cry. Finding something that was exciting made her cry. I mean, her eyes are watery. I'm not kidding you. Like 75% of the close-ups. It's insane. So anyway, tell me what you think about this. Have you ever seen another character assassinated this quickly and this fully as Tilly has been? Thanks for watching. Bye.